we are going to see these attribute functions. Okay. So what is this attribute function? Okay, let me see one more question. Pradeep. Okay, I will unmute you. Pradeep. Good. Pradeep, I have unmuted you. You can talk. Can DBA is SQL3 be connected to this? Yes. See, all other tools, okay, whichever are there, you have.
This is Pradeep.
Yeah, Pradeep. Good.
Hey, the question I have is on the Z formatting or all other formatting which you were discussing a while ago in the previous slide. So will this formatting work while we are inserting the data from a flat file into the target table, or is this formatting only applicable for the data which is already in the table and which you are trying to display?
Right. It is formatting while displaying the answer set, because the data is already there in different formats in the tables like this, and if you want to make any change in the format, display format of the answer set, then you can use this.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, thanks.
No. Okay. Okay. So here we are going to see the attribute functions. Okay. So what is an attribute actually? Attribute is a column in the table. Okay. The attribute is a terminology used in the logical modeling. Sorry. Yes, in the logical model terminology, we use attributes, tuples, entities, all this. Entity is nothing but a table. Tuple is nothing but a row. Attribute is nothing but a column. Okay. In the physical implementation, we term them in a different way, but in a generic logical model, okay, irrespective of the database, the physical database, we generally call entity, attributes, and tuples. So here, attribute means a column. So whatever functions we generally apply on a column are called as attribute functions. Okay, so here you can see the list of functions what are available to apply at a column level. So column level information you can get it from these functions. So they are called as attribute functions. Okay. So here you can see how we can apply one by one functions and what is the data or what is the information you can get from that particular column. First one is type. So if I apply the type function on the column, then you are going to get the data type of that particular column. Okay, but the best practice is whenever you apply this type function, use a group by or a distinct keyword so that you will get the data type only once. Okay, so here let us take a scenario to understand it better. I have a table with 3 columns, and out of these 3 columns, one column is integer. The first column is integer. Okay, I would like to display that integer data type by applying this type function. Okay, and this table has 100 rows, for example. Okay, this table has 100 rows, and in SQL Assistant I would like to see what is the data type of this. There are so many ways. Okay, we can use help table, show table, and we can use the tree structure in SQL Assistant to see the data type. All are there, but here there is one more option that you can apply the type function on the column name so that you can see the data type. So can you tell me, if I use select without a distinct keyword, if I apply the type function on the column from the table, what is the answer set? Okay, the type functionality is it returns the data type of the particular column. So if I don't use the distinct data type, I mean if I don't use the distinct keyword, and if I apply the type function on the column where this table has 100 rows, how many times you see that this column is integer? Can you guess? options. It is 1 time, or it is 100 times, or it is 1000 times. Right, it is 100 times because the table has 100 rows, and if you apply this function for each row, it will try to see is this integer or not, and it will display you 100 times for each row. For that column, this represented as integer, right? So 100 times you are going to see. But is it really required to see what is the data type of this particular column 100 times? Okay, so most of these attribute functions require a distinct or a group by functionality, because if the data type is defined for a table level, it won't change at each row level, isn't it? So it is enough to get the information only once by applying the distinct functionality. So that's where we use a distinct keyword for all the attribute functions generally. There are some attributes, there are some attribute functions which don't require distinct, but here most of these attribute functions require a distinct keyword to be applied along with the function, because the functionality of the column won't change row by row. It is defined at the table level, right? So we can use select distinct of type column 1 from the table, then you are going to see integer only once, right? And you see the next function, select a distinct title of the column. What is the title? Title means the business name, whatever you assign at the time of table creation. At the time of table creation, you have an option to assign names to each and every column. For example, in the employee table, I have defined a column as EMP ID. Okay. If it is an EMP ID, generally the business users may not understand what is EMP underscore ID. Okay, I have to assign. Sorry for that. So I have to assign a business name to this EMP ID, okay, as a title like employee number or employee identification number. Then only the business user can understand, okay, employee ID is nothing but employee identification number. Otherwise, generally they cannot understand, right? So in order to make them understand, we can document a business name, or we can assign a business name to each and every attribute of the table. So that is called as a title. So when you assign this title, you can get the title back with the function called title. Okay? The first step is you have to assign a title at the time of table creation to each and every column. Then after assignment and after creation the table, if you want to see the title back, you can apply the function called title. Yeah? Select distinct title of the column from the table, so it would give you the title. If you assign anything, the title will be displayed. If you don't assign any title but you applied the title function, then it will give you the column name itself. Okay, you will get the column name itself as a title. Similarly, the format. Okay, you can assign a format at the time of table creation itself, how the data should be stored in the table. At the time of table creation, you can use the format. For example, if it is a date and the date has to be stored in a particular format in the table, you can use the format at the column level in the table definition itself. And if you want to see what format the data is being stored in this table, you can use a format function on the attribute to see what format it is. Yeah, for example, if it returns here like this 9 of 10, can you tell me what is this format? What is this format 9 of 10? It is non-zero suppressed decimal digit of 10 numbers, that is writing 9 times, nothing but, right? So by seeing this, you can understand, okay, what is the format restricted to store this data in the table. So you can use format at the time of table creation also to restrict what format the data is to be stored, and you can use format at the time of displaying the answer in a required business user formats. Yeah, that is also possible. And similar to title, there is another function called named. Okay. Named is also to assign the business names. Either you can use title or you can use named. Again, why these many ways of doing the same functionality? Okay, you may have a question. Okay, with the title also I can assign a business title. With named also I can assign business name to the column. Why we have these two functionalities which are having the same objective. Again, this is because of having compatibility with the other RDBMS, because Teradata is a data warehousing RDBMS, and when we have a requirement to migrate the warehouse from any other RDBMS to here, we should do with minimal code changes. That's where Teradata is implemented with so many functions with the same objective, so that even you migrate from DB2, it would be easy because it accepts name. If it is from SQL Server, it is also easy because it accepts the title. It's like this. Many functions which are acceptable by the other RDBMS is also implemented here in Teradata, so that Teradata as a data warehouse in RDBMS, the migrations, the source servers could be of any other RDBMS. So with minimal code, with minimal definition changes, you can migrate everything onto Teradata. So that is the objective, why it has different functions for the same objective. So here named is also to assign the business name to the column, and once you assign a name to the business name to the columns, you can get it back with the named function. Again, if there is no name assigned, then the column name itself is displayed. Okay. And then we have characters. The characters is a function which display how many number of characters exist in this particular column. Okay, so here if it is a fixed length character data type, then it is always same, so you can use the distinct keyword. For example, if the column is defined as char of 10, then even you store 2 characters in that particular column or 10 characters in the column, what is the size of that particular column? It's always 10 because it is defined as fixed length. So here you will use the distinct keyword. But for example, if it is a variable length character, the column 2 is defined as a varchar 10, then we generally don't use this distinct keyword, but these characters would display the actual number of characters what this particular column has in each and every row. So here we don't use distinct because the number of characters in this column for each row may be varying because of this variable length character, right? So at that moment, if it is the variable length character, then you can see different number of characters for each and every row for that column. So we generally don't use the distinct keyword. Okay, so we'll see few functionalities here. Okay, here I see one question. What is the difference between title and name? Okay, title and name both are same in the functionality. Just a moment. Right. Sorry. So these two functionalities, the named and title, both are same. There is no change. Okay. If you want to use named keyword to assign a business name, you can use it. Or if you want to use a title keyword to assign a business name, you can use it. There is no difference. Because of the compatibility reason, they have assigned. I mean, they have made these two functionality available in Teradata. Okay, here I see one more question. How does the AMP operation works if we use distinct attributes? Okay, so each AMP, okay, so you understood the architecture of Teradata. There are many AMPs which stores a portion of each and every table. Okay, when you apply the distinct functionality, each AMP would work to get the distinct values in the portion of their storage, and once it give the data back to the message passing layer, at message passing layer there will be one more distinct functionality applied, and to the user only one value would be given, okay, which is distinct across all the AMPs. Okay, that is how the distinct functionality would work when it is executed across all the AMPs. Clear? See that? First each AMP would work on their portions, will get the distincts, and then at a higher level message passing layer will do one more distinct functionality on the result set given by each and every AMP, and then do and select the distinct value before giving it to the users. Right. So here is my data server, which is up and running. I hope you all installed and started practicing. So you can apply some attribute functions. You see, right? Select type of, for example, let me take this default database, financial, and default tables, accounts. The type of one particular column I would like to see. Just wanted to apply customer ID. Okay, I can see here also integer. But actually, when we generally use this type function, okay, here I can see through show tables, through help tables, or through this tree structures, and why I need this type function in general usage. Okay, if I see this, financial accounts, right? Financial is database, accounts is the table name. Okay, there is one more dot. See, integer is displayed 20 times. What does it mean? It has 20 rows. So for each and every row, it is giving me what is the type of that particular column, which is not required actually. So we use generally a distinct keyword. Right? So this is the application of attribute function. So again, my question, when do we use this type function? Is it really required to use type function to know the data type of the column? There are so many ways. Why do I need this? Okay. There are several scenarios in production. You define the views upon the tables, and only the view access is given to the business users, right? And generally in production also, even developers would also get read access, probably on the views. Okay, if there is a scenario that you got access only on the view, which is defined on a particular table, but you don't have any access even to show the definition of these tables. Okay, so in that situation, if you would like to know what is this attribute in this view with data type, what is the data type of this particular attribute in the view. So generally what we do, we'll see what is the underlying table in the definition of the view, and then we'll go and use the show table command, see the definition of the table, and then we'll get the data types. But if you don't have show table access on the inline tables, but you have only read access on the view, then how we can get the data type of the particular column? So at that moment you can use this type function. Okay? So on the view you will apply this type function so that it would read what is the data type of this particular column, and it will give you the result. And that is the usage of this type attribute. Okay? When you don't have a show table access on a table, you have a view defined on the table and you have the access on only the view, but you don't know what is the data type of a column in the view, you can use the type function to get the data type. Okay. And if I use chars, see here I have one column character of 16. So now I would like to use another attribute function, characters, on which column? Account number. Okay. Let me paste. You can use all these functionalities, quick paste, so that no need to type them again and again. Okay, it is distinct I have applied. If I don't use distinct, what happens? Still I will have, because it is a fixed length character, you will always see 16 only, even though the data is vary. So let's see the data also. Okay. Data is also consistent, that's why they used character of 16, so it is always 16. But if you see any varchar, then it could be different, right? For example, you have employee tables. Let me see the definition. Show table financial.emp. Now we have created a table called emp. You can see the definition. We have a name as varchar 30, and we have a short name with character of 7. So every data type is available here. So let us use this table for all our exercises. Okay. So let's start from financial.emp. Okay, let me make financial as my default database. What is the command to make financial as my default database? Can you tell me? Database financial. So what is the benefit? If I make my default database as financial, in the rest of the session, if I want to use the financial objects, I no need to prefix it, right? Now, even without prefixing the database name, I can access the data. See, with the full name, with the short name. This varchar, it is a fixed length character. So now let me apply the characters function on the name attribute. What is the attribute name? Name. Right? And characters function on short name. Right? This short name. And let me see the data also. Name and its length, short name and its length. I want to see only these 4 attributes from the employee table. Right? From emp, let me execute this. Let column short name not found. SHART. Okay, I have given a wrong spelling at the time of table creation itself, so it is asking me to do the same. See here, it's a varchar 30. So as it is a variable length character, it is giving me the exact length of the data values in this column, because it is allocated only this much of space. And it is a varchar, I mean it is a fixed length character 7 short name, right? So it is giving me a fixed size for each and every column, because even though you use it or not, a fixed number of bytes are allocated to your short name as character of 7. Here it is a varchar of 30. So it shows only the exact number of characters what is used here. Right? Yes, sir. Any question?
No. I don't know.
Okay. Right. Here I would like to tell you there are several equivalent functions to find the length of the data in the particular column. Then here we have seen characters. What is the functionality of characters here? To give the number of characters in the particular column, that is nothing but length of the column, right? So to do the same functionality in Teradata, we have different other functions also, which are called as chars, char, and we have seen already characters, character and characters, and char underscore length. See, all these which are highlighted as blue are keywords to do the same functionality. Even if you use any of these, it would work. Yeah. You want me to do this character? Yeah, let me use character at one time and let me use char also, so that we'll see both of them together. Right. See, all are of same functionality. Whatever you have got earlier, the same result you got. So you can use either of these to find out the length of the columns. You can note it down: chars, char, character, characters, char length. Everything is same. Okay. And along with these character functions, okay, there are several other character functions what we have to see. Let me open up our practice SQL, which we have used aliasing, castings, right? So creation of the tables, inserting some sample data, as in date arithmetics, formats, date functions. You will see date functions. Now we'll see the string functions. See, we have seen all these. Now we'll see the different other string functions like trim. Okay. So when trim is required, we generally use trim, right? In all other RDBMS also use trim to remove the extra padded spaces. Okay, if it is a character data type, so if it uses a fixed length of the data element, okay, if I use a character of 10, but if I store only 2 characters, what happens to the remaining 7 characters which are allocated, the remaining 8 characters? Okay, they are there with padded spaces. So that's where you are getting always the length is 8. But in case if you have a fixed length character data type but you want the exact number of characters what you stored in the data, how do you get it? Okay. So here my scenario is okay, so here my scenario is the columns are defined as a character of 10. I have stored only 2 characters, sometimes 3 characters, 5 characters. If I use a characters function on that, I would always get 10 as a size, right? But what shall I do if I want to get this size, the exact size of the data element what I stored in this fixed length character? Okay, what we can do? We can apply a trim function on the element and then you apply the character function. Then it will trim the extra added spaces or blanks and then you will get the exact length. See, here I have written a hard-coded value with some spaces. Okay. So how many number of characters it would have? Let us see. So it is of 19 characters, but generally it is less than 19, right? It is adding the padded spaces also, which is a fixed length character. So the extra added space is also calculated in terms of the length of this particular column. So now I would like to find out the exact length of this value something. How to find it? So before applying characters function, you apply trim function. So that you would remove the padded extra spaces. Then you see the remove one parenthesis here. The first trim is applied, the output of trim is given to chars, and then you see the data 10. So something is of length 10, so extra padded spaces were 9 which were removed with this trim function. So whenever you deal with the fixed length characters, you have to apply the trim function. Okay, so this is the best practice to use trim functionality to only the fixed length characters to remove the padded spaces. It is not required for a variable length characters, because in variable length character it is always trim, right? There are no extra padded spaces a part of the actual data what you store. So generally, if it is not required for the variable length characters, we should not use trim, because trim is a resource consuming operation. Okay, so it is a best practice. If you are applying trim on the variable length characters, so please remove it. Okay, it is not required. But if it is on the fixed length characters, yes, you have to use trim to achieve the business requirement. Okay, so we generally see trim is used always whenever they deal with characters. No, that is not the case. Trim is used only for the fixed length characters. Okay, so trim is a resource consuming operation. Use it wherever it is required. Okay, remove the trim functionality whenever it is not necessary, so that you will save some resources. Okay, so trim is a character function which is to remove the padded spaces from the fixed length characters. And there is one more functionality of concatenating different strings and show them as a single string. For example, I have a column with first name, for example, like this. Okay. I would like to concatenate the last name also, like this. Some strings, whatever it is. Okay. So I can use double pipe symbol to concatenate and display the value. See, if I use only up to here, it is displayed, and if I use a normal comma and display, these two strings are displayed in two different columns, isn't it? You see, hello is a different column, Teradata is a different column. Now I would like to concatenate these two strings as a single string and display in a single column. What shall I do? The functionality is by double pipe. Because if you use a double pipe, it means that to combine both these strings to represent as a single string. So concatenation is a frequently used string function sometimes. And if I would like to see a space in between hello and Teradata, it would be more meaningful, right? It is not hello without space Teradata. I would like to see hello along with the space. Yes, I can do multiple string concatenation also. So I would use a space also as a string, and I will concatenate again with Teradata. So how many strings I am concatenating here? Hello is a string, blank space is a string, and Teradata is a string. So three strings I am concatenating with two concatenation operators, double pipe, and I can see the data here. Okay. And I can use all these functionalities in the same requirement, right? A nested or a complex string functions I can use. Concatenation, and then trimming it after the concatenation, so that if there are any extra spaces added, they will be trimmed, and then I will find out the length of the concatenated string. I can do that, right? So select, chars of, trim of, hello concatenation with space, concatenation Teradata. Okay, a bit complex functionality which I have applied, and I found the length of the concatenated string after trimming it. Right? And there is one more function called substring. Okay, to find a substring in a main string. That is, if I have a string called hello Teradata, okay, within that I would like to display only Teradata. This is my requirement. Okay, I don't want to see whatever is there before this number of characters. I want to see only this part of the string. So how I can divide a substring from a main string? There is a function called substring, substr. There, the first parameter in the function is the complete string from which you want to divide the substring, and the second parameter is to represent where your substring starts in the main string and then the third parameter is how many number of characters you need from that starting position. Okay, so this is the sequence of these parameters. The first parameter is the main string. The second parameter is from which character you want to display and how many characters you want to display. This is the third parameter. So here, to display Teradata, what I need to do? Can you tell me what should be the parameters here? I want to display Teradata from the hello Teradata. Can you tell me what is the second parameter? Because second parameter is the starting character of the substring, and the third parameter is the number of characters what you want to display from the substring starting position. Can you give the parameter second and third? So where T starts here? Calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Seventh position is starting of my substring, and then from there how many characters you want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, isn't it? So if I do this, what I get? Teradata. Right? If my requirement is to display only Teradata from the hello Teradata, I would like to give the parameters of starting position and the number of characters what I need. Here you would know one more thing. If the substring is starting at middle and the substring is ending till the end of the string, it is optional to give the third parameter. Okay, if I give only starting position, it understands, okay, you want to display till the end of the string, right? So if I have hello Teradata as the value, I want to display Teradata. So T starts from 7th position till the end of the string I want. So the third parameter is optional. So now also you get Teradata. Yes, you can give by calculating the number of characters till what you want. If it is in middle of the string, but if it is still end of the string, you can make the third parameter as optional. Okay, and now can you tell me what should be the parameters if I want to display Tera? I want to display Tera from this hello Teradata. I would like to display Tera. What are the parameters? Can you tell me? Okay, 7 is the starting position, right? Can I make it optional, this third parameter? No, I want only Tera, so it is middle of the string, so I have to restrict how many number of characters I want. So I have to restrict with the size of the substring, then only we'll get Tera. Now if I want data to be displayed, can you tell me what should be the parameters? Data. If I want data, then what should be the parameters? Only I want to display DATA. Calculate it. Okay, so it is 11. So 11th position, and then what is the third parameter? Okay, I can give either 4 or I can eliminate it also because it's the end of the string, right? So sometimes you may see substring with only 2 parameters, then no need to confuse. Okay, so they wanted till end of this string, that's why they have made the third parameter as optional. If it is in mid of the string only they want, then yes, they have to manually give the third parameter. Clear? So that's how we can use the substring function to display a part of the main string. If it is till end of the string you want, you can eliminate the third parameter, or otherwise you can mention the third parameter also. Right. And there is one more functionality called position. How to identify position of a substring in a main string. Here I have a string like this, and in this I would like to find out the position of a substring, that is AF, for example. So I would like to see where this AF starts in this particular main string. Can you tell me where this AF starts here? This one is AF. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So ninth position is the AF's position in this main string. Right. So the functionality of position is to display the first occurrence of this substring in the main string. So this AF is a substring. This AF would appear as the ninth position in this main string. That's what is appearing, and it is the first occurrence. For example, if there is one more occurrence like this, so here this is one AF, right, and this is another AF, the same combination of substring. So now can you tell me what is the value written by the position? At the ninth position we have one AF, and then at 11th position also we have one AF. So which one is displayed? What is the answer if I execute this position function on this substring now? There are multiple substrings available in the main string. So which substring position it would retrieve? The first occurrence. Okay, the first occurrence of the substring is displayed. So it is always 9. If I don't have here, for example, I made it something. So now what is the first occurrence of AF here? This 13. Okay, now I have inserted one more string and one more character. So now AF starts from here, that is 13th position of the main string. So this is the first occurrence now. So what is the functionality of position? To display the position of or the index of the substring in the main string. The first occurrence of the substring in the main string. Okay, so these are different string functions what we generally use in daily life frequently. There are so many other functions also, but these are the frequently used string functions. Okay, the finding the length, trimming them, concatenations, substring, and finding the position. Okay, so now I would like to give you one exercise. So please note it down. The exercise. Okay, here I see one question. How to find out the multiple occurrences of the strings? Okay, there is no direct function to do that, but you have to do a workaround. Okay, what we have to do? First, you find this position. For example, you have the requirement to find the second occurrence of the AF in the string. Okay, generally by default it gives the first occurrence. How to find the second occurrence of this AF in the main string? What we can do? There is no direct function. What we can do is you find the position of it, and then after finding the position you do a substring, that from that character onwards you divide this rest of the string, and within the string again you apply the position function, so that you will get the second occurrence of the substring in the main string. So it is not a direct function, you have to do a workaround. First find the first occurrence and then use in the substring to divide that, and then the output of substring is given back to position, so that you use all nested functions to do this requirement, isn't it? So there is no direct function. Yes, you can do it with workarounds. Okay, here I see one more question. Does trim function trim only from left side or right side or both? Okay, it is both. By default, trim function does trimming of padded spaces from both the sides. Okay, if you want to do only at left side, you have to use the left character, left string and right string. There is a separate functionality to use only trimming at the left side or only trimming at the right side. Yeah, that is different. But trim by default does the trimming from both the sides for the strings. Right? And let me see one more question. Elmer, you have a question? Elmer? Okay, you can type your question. I can read it out. Okay. So I'm going to give you an exercise. to apply all this string functionality. I hope I have this exercise defined in our course material. Let me show you that. So, or you can write it down, not a problem. Okay, let me explain you what is the exercise. For example, I have a table with customer name, and the customer name is stored in the format like full name. Okay, full name in the format of last name, comma, space, first name. This is the format how you have stored your customer name in the column called name. For example, it's not full name, it's name column. So in the name column, you have stored last name, comma, first name for each and every customer. Okay, so now in my report, I would like to see these two columns separately in two separate columns. The last name in a column and first name in a different column. How can we do that? Okay. So you can create a table with a single column. Create table with the varchar of 30, column name as name. A table with name column of data type varchar of 30, and then store the names in the format insert. Let me write insert the values in the format last name, comma, first name, last name, comma, space, first name. Yeah, please observe here last name, comma, a blank space, and the first name. Okay, for example, if I store the name as Krishna Manohar, right, example, and after storing your records, okay, store 10 records or 5 records with different names in this combination last name, comma, first name, and then in the report I would like to see Manohar in one column, and in another column I want to see like this, right? You have to display the data in different two columns, Manohar in one column and Krishna in one column. That is first name in one column and in another column last name. How to display this? Okay, please create a table, insert some sample values, and then apply the string functions to divide the full name into two different strings. How to find it? Okay, so let me get your responses through emails by tomorrow. You will see how you applied it, and if there are any corrections, we will discuss. Clear? Any questions on the exercise? Anyone? What to do? How to do? Okay, how to use these functions. You have to find out the positions. You have to divide them. Okay, all these things you have to apply. Right. And let us see some date functions also along with. Okay, here I see one question. Can you repeat the assignment, please? Assignment is to create a table with a single column of name with a data type of varchar of 30, right? And then you insert some values in that name. You insert 10 rows. It is only one column. You insert 10 rows in that column, and then while inserting, you ensure the names are in the format last name, comma, space, first name. Yeah. For example, okay, S Bhargavi. So yes, his last name, comma, Bhargavi. And then in the select statement, I would display this name into two different columns. The first name in one column and the second name in another column. Is clear? My data is stored in this format, but in my retrieval, in the reports, I want the data to be displayed in this format in different two columns. First name in first column and last name in second column. Right. So here you see date functions. Okay. We know how to display the current date, right? We use select date. So it displays the current date. Current underscore date or date, both are same. You can use any one of them to display the current date, present date or today's date. Okay. And now if I want to extract only a portion of the date, for example year portion of the date or a month portion of the date or a day portion of the date, then there is a function called extract. Okay, we already know how to do date arithmetics, right? If you want to add or subtract number of days, we use plus or minus normal operators, or if you want to do months or year operations, we use add months function, where it will take two parameters and the second parameter is the number of months what you want to add to the first parameter. We already know that. So here it shows how to extract the portions of the date. Okay, so in the date I get everything, right? The date part, month part, year part. But now from the date I would like to see only the year part. What I can do? Extract year from date. See, only 2014 is displayed. Okay, if you want to see only the month part or only the year part, you can do it. Year is 2014, month is 4, day is 4. 3 different columns, the result is displayed in different way. So there is a function called extract, a date function extract, to display the portions of the date. And these functions can be applied on the date functions. Okay, this date is a system routine, right, which stores the current data, current date. And these functions can be applied on the columns of date data type. In a table, if a column is declared as a date data type, those columns also can be used in this position to extract a particular portion of the date. And now you can use a character strings also. See here. Okay. Select extract year from a particular date. See, I am able to get it. But here you have to observe the date is in the default required format, then only it is extracting the year portion 2008. But if I write my date in this format of a fixed length, is it possible? Let us try. Here my date is in mm/dd/yy, right? If I give a different format, it will throw me an error. You will see tomorrow, and next class is on Monday. So weekend is a holiday. You just go with all your exercises and all the action items what we had defined earlier. Okay, we'll see the continuation of these date functions tomorrow. I have an hot stop now to leave. So we'll continue on the date functions and then we'll go with the rest of the topics on Monday at 8 AM IST. So if you have any questions, I'll be here. Or if you are clear with the questions, you can drop off now. I'm here for more time.